I am God. You think I'm joking or not?
You tell me.
I'm not joking.
I'd rather do it on camera.
No. If it's on camera, we're not doing the interview.
Why?
We'll explain why.
How do you feel about that influence that you have?
You better be careful. We're coming for your children there, buddy.
About my resignation, yes, I'm going to do.
You're going to resign?
Yeah, I'm going.
I've been answering your question. You answer mine.
It's actually not my job to answer your questions.
Thank God for TalkTV. It's not only the home of common sense, it's the only place where you get the truth.
On TV, on radio, and on your smartphone. This is TalkTV.
Tonight on Piers Morgan Uncensored, Israel at war, the uncensored debate. Mohammed Hijab is a Muslim philosopher, scholar and YouTuber whose first appearance on the show was viewed by more than 8 million people. Rabbi Shmuley has been called the most famous rabbi in America. He is the international best-selling author of Kosher Hate and The Israel Warrior. Both men are passionate, both men are influential, and they both have vehemently opposing views. Tonight, they go uncensored and head-to-head.
From the News Building in London, this is Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Good evening from London. Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Debate about the conflict in Israel is intractable. For Israel and its supporters, this is about an existential threat, brutally symbolised by the savagery of the Hamas attacks on October the 7th. For Palestine and its supporters, this is about oppression spanning many decades. Israel has a unique duty to its people. After centuries of pogroms, displacements and a Holocaust, it must provide a safe place for Jewish people to live without fear of being murdered for their faith. But that safe place has taken the place of the Palestinians and too often has come at the cost of their dignity, rights and their lives. Last week, Palestinian Dr. Izzeldin Abu Leish, who has lost 25 members of his own family to conflict in Israel, saw a ray of hope in what happened in Northern Ireland.
I met with Martin McGuinness before, and he said to me, we were confronting each other. Once we started to move side by side as equal, we put an end to that. And that's what we need, the international community, the world, that we can, Palestinians and Israelis, to move side by side as equal with dignity and respect.
Well, Northern Ireland was another conflict which seemed impossible to resolve. It was a long and agonising and deadly process. But we got there in the end because both sides talked endlessly about their grievances, their hopes, their needs, and eventually they did find unity. They find a way to come together. Now, clearly, we're not going to find peace in the Middle East tonight, but we are going to do something that doesn't happen very often. We're bringing together two very opinionated, passionate, influential people, with very opposing views, and we're going to have a proper debate, and we're going to see if somewhere there is perhaps more that we can agree on than we first imagined. So thank you for joining me, gentlemen. We tossed a coin before we came on air tonight, and actually, you won the toss, and you said you want to go second.
I defer to my brother.
And the way this will work, Mohammed, we have 4 sections of this debate. And at the start of each one, you'll both get 1 minute uninterrupted to say what you want to say about each of the themed titles of each block. So you go first, and at the end of your minute, you'll hear a sound. And when you hear that, you end, and then Rabbi Shmuley gets his chance to speak. So the first theme is a simple one. Are Hamas to blame? You have a minute, Mohammed, from now.
From one perspective, Hamas started the battle because, obviously, from October the 7th, even they themselves title it Tufan al-Aqsa, or the flooding of al-Aqsa. But from another perspective, if you really look at it from an international law perspective, we're talking about 1967, we're talking about Security Resolution 242, in which it is actually stated that Israel is in a belligerent state because they're occupying the West Bank, East Jerusalem and Gaza. And they have been, so therefore the war has been continual for a very long time according to international law. But let's remove Hamas from the situation altogether. Let's remove them. What do you have? You have the West Bank. And what do you have in the West Bank? You have 187 children who have been put in prisons. They have been put in prisons, according to Bet Salem, without charge. You have 44 children before October the 7th that have been killed before October the 7th in just 2023 alone. So if you remove Hamas from the equation, what you have the West Bank. You remove dominance from the equation, you have the West Bank, and what you have occupation, you have settlement, which you condemned, rightfully so. You condemned that on your show. The settlement's there.
OK. Rabbi Shmuley, 1 minute to respond.
Resolution 242 in the UN doesn't mention a single thing about aggression or aggressor. That is a total fabrication, and it speaks about disputed territories. But let's be clear. The occupier of Gaza is Hamas. They won an election in 2006, had a civil war with Mahmoud Abbas, took the Palestinian Authority officials, threw them off buildings, killed Muslims, killed Arabs. Mahmoud Abbas is afraid to go to Gaza. He's terrified of Hamas. He hasn't been there since 2007. And let's be clear, Hamas is an abomination to Islam. Sultan Salah al-Din, the greatest Muslim conqueror of all time, after whom the main artery in Gaza is named, he said that you have to allow all prisoners to be redeemed. He would never hold hostages. And remember, Islam is about fair treatment of prisoners of war. Hamas beheaded Thai non-Jewish workers. You asked in your last appearance here for real first-hand sources. I'm the first-hand source. I saw it in Kibbutz Alumim. They raped women. They had sex with dead women's bodies. They are evil, and do the right thing and call them evil.
All right, we've had a minute each. Okay, we've got a passionate start. Mohammed, let me ask you about Hamas.
I want to first, before you do that, I want to commend you, Piers, honestly, because bringing me on for the second time, I have to commend you. And the fact that you actually condemned the settlements is very good. But people want to know, do you think the IDF are a terrorist organization?
No.
You don't think they're a terrorist organization? Okay, well, if you look at the UN definition of terrorist organization, they say killing civilians for political gain.
You asked me my opinion.
No, but if the UN definition, according to the UN definition, it's killing civilians for political objectives. Why are they not terrorist organizations?
Well, you've asked me a straight question. I don't think they are a terror organization.
So when you see babies like this, the ones who kill babies like this are not terrorists.
It's horrific.
So the people who kill babies like this are not terrorists.
Well, let me respond.
Yes.
Let me respond. I believe Israel has a right to defend itself.
Okay.
I agree that they need to get rid of Hamas, who are terror groups.
In this way?
Well, here's the quandary for me morally, right?
Why is that a quandary, though?
I'll tell you why.
With Hamas, it's not a quandary,
I'll
but
tell you why.
Country.
Because in war, when you declare war, as Britain did with the Nazis...
100-to-1 ratio.
No,
100
of course,
to 1.
There are
combatant to non-combatant ratio.
A far higher number of children in Gaza, proportionate to population, than almost anywhere in the world.
Piers,
so when they go after Hamas...
Give me a chance.
Very sadly... Mohammed, let me finish.
No.
Very sadly...
You are the one who insisted on equal time. I never did, but you will not respect equal time.
I will come to you literally in 30 seconds.
He's going to ask you a question.
In 30 seconds, I'll come to you.
He's going to come to you afterwards.
Let me finish, please. I am in charge here, Mohammed. So my final point on this is, unfortunately, in war, civilians get killed.
100-to-1 ratio. 100-to-1 ratio.
Yes.
100-to-1 ratio.
Yes, they get killed.
No, not 100-to-1 ratio. It's an unacceptable ratio.
Get killed.
Piers,
Rabbi
listen.
Shmuley, in you come.
You know, Piers, can I say respectfully, and I mean this as no insult, I'm amazed that you're intimidated by this man. I feel, well, with all due respect, if I can speak,
he brought me in the second time.
I wouldn't bring him back if I was intimidated.
If I can speak.
And he raises a very valid question, by the way.
No, he does not, because I have, before he did this debate, he went on X on Twitter and said, I'm only doing it if there's equal time. And then he is violating that. I never asked for equal time. I just want to be heard, but he won't even let me be heard. Let me explain something to you. You said in a video the other day, and you can look me in the eye, you said that Jews are now trembling. Mohammed, I am not. No, don't interrupt me. I am not trembling. It's all on my Instagram page. Now, you see this yarmulke? It means that I represent something. I'm an ambassador. You're an ambassador of Islam. You are talking about a religion that started the world's first universities, educated women. Fatima started the first university in the 9th century in Fez, Morocco.
Irrelevant.
Now we have a man who says that he's a representative of Islam. He will
bring
defend
it back to the debate.
I will.
Bring it back to the topic.
He will defend Hamas's butchery, savagery. He doesn't care that Hamas is an abomination to Islam because Islam.
But he hasn't done
the
that.
Children in Gaza are dying because Hamas uses them as bulletproof vests. The United States and France and England said yesterday that the Al-Shifa hospital is a military base. It has a tiny veneer.
Let him have his minute.
It has a tiny veneer of emergency rooms. But underneath all of it is a military base.
You have a minute.
And let me tell you something. If it's true that any of these countries care about the Muslims in Gaza because they believe what he's saying, that Israel's killing them, this is a map of all the countries that took place last week in Riyadh to save the Palestinians of Gaza from Israel. Do you know how many? That's Israel, a tiny thing. You know how many of them took in even one Palestinian from Gaza? Zero, nothing.
All right.
Look at that map.
Let me-
because they
Stop
want
pointing,
to.
stop
The
pointing.
Arabs
Let
want
me-
to see.
all right,
No, I'm
Rabbi
pointing.
Shmuley.
The
Hang on.
Arabs want to see
Stop pointing.
Rabbi
Hamas.
Shmuley.
Stop pointing, stop
Don't
pointing.
intimidate me. Don't bully
Okay,
me.
okay,
Thank you,
let
Mohammed.
me ask you-
Don't intimidate me.
Stop pointing.
I'm not
Guys,
afraid of
I've
you.
got to be able to ask
Thank
questions.
you.
It's a debate.
Let him
Let's
have
come
one
back.
minute,
Let me ask you
Uncensored.
one specific question which he raised, which I don't think actually is your belief. I don't think you have defended what Hamas did on October the 7th.
Yeah, I haven't.
I think you share our
Are they
view.
evil? Are they
Unless
evil?
I'm wrong.
Are they
We've spoken
evil?
about this
Are
before.
they evil?
Stop
Are
speaking.
they
Is it me
evil?
or him I'm
Are they
speaking to?
evil?
Stop
Rabbi
speaking to
Shmuley,
this. Stop
Hamas
speaking.
you're now
evil.
doing
Stop
what you
speaking.
accused him of doing.
Stop
So
speaking.
let me ask you, what is your view of Hamas post-October 7th?
I think that they, just like anybody else, have to be examined. Have to look at all the.
What's
the
your
pros and cons.
opinion about them?
Yeah, I think that here's my opinion. Let me be straightforward about this, right? Anybody who kills civilians, anybody, whether it's the IDF, I'm consistent in this manner. If it's proven beyond reasonable doubt that these people have killed civilians in both of our faith traditions, in Islam and Judaism, in the Quran is mentioned, in the Prophet, he said it himself, you cannot kill a woman, you cannot kill a child. I condemn them. I condemn them. That's what I do. Straight away, whether he's Muslim, whether he's non-Muslim, whether he's Christian or anybody else. I've already said that. So I'm not being inconsistent here. My question is, if that is exactly the barometer that we're using, if that's the moral reasoning that we're using, then we have to say, look, if you have a 100-to-1 ratio, and that's what it is, a 100-to-1 ratio. And do you know how I got this figure? I got this figure from the IDF themselves because they have reported
Okay,
to
but
the...
let me ask you this. Does Hamas deserve to stay in power after what they did?
I don't think we should have Hamas in power. What I think we should...
Okay.
No, let me tell you...
So how do you get rid of them?
We should have a Palestinian Authority with bigger armies and airports, with proper tanks and with airplanes like every country in the world.
You know what? You might be right. But
Absolutely. They won't allow it.
How do you get
the Israelis won't allow
How do you
that.
get rid of Hamas?
What you don't do, I can tell you for a fact, is try and kill 30,000 of them with a 100-to-1 ratio. Because if you do that, then you're committing genocide. Because you'd have to kill 3 million Palestinians.
Rabbi Shmuley?
Do you even know the definition of genocide?
I haven't said genocide.
What's it? You just said it.
No, I said
if you. What is the definition of genocide? What's the definition?
I said if you do.
You always claim to be an academic. You're always touting your Oxford credentials. What is the definition of
conditional?
genocide?
You said conditional.
Genocide is where. Genocide is where.
You'll be genocidal.
Genocide is where you target an ethnicity for extinction. Ethnicity side murder.
Yes, if you do it. If you kill 3 million Palestinians, are you genocidal or not? If you kill 3 million Palestinians, are you genocidal or not?
Don't speak over each other.
There are 1.8 million
What's the Holocaust of genocide?
Muslim
What's the Holocaust of
Arabs who
genocide?
live in total peace in Israel as equal citizens. In fact, Israel practiced reverse discrimination against the Jews because the Jews are conscripted to fight Hamas. So, if Israel, excuse me, no, you will not interrupt me. If Israel, you will not interrupt me. You will not interrupt me. You will not interrupt me. You will not bully me. You will not interrupt me. I am not afraid of you. Stop saying the Jews tremble. Now, let me be clear. Let me be clear.
We're getting nowhere if you shout over each other.
Well, then you need to control your guests with all due respect. Okay, he said he said equal time, and there's no equal time. Now,
there's no equal time.
If Israel was interested in a genocide of the Palestinians, why do they have 1.8 million equal Arab Muslim citizens who are in the Israeli Supreme Court, who are 1/3 of the medical profession? Do you know that an Arab judge put the president of Israel in jail for accused rape? That was Moshe Katsav. That's how little Israel's an apartheid state, genocidal state. This man sitting next to me, Mohammed Hijab, will not distinguish between self-defense when Hamas comes to brutalize and murder your people versus when an army like Britain, like France, stops, retaliates to simply protect their citizens. You don't believe the Jews should have a right to defend themselves? Say it outright then say it.
The Jews have the right to defend themselves.
They do.
Yes, they do.
So that's why we have to go into...
Everybody has a right to defend themselves.
So that's why we have to go into Gaza to stop Hamas.
Yes, they can go into Gaza and stop Hamas.
But...
No, they can go in, but don't... No, hey, hold on. Let me tell you my position.
So they can go in. Thank God.
He asked me a question. Can I answer it? Yes, they can go into even fight. Even Abu Ubaidah, the general of Hamas, he said, "Nahnu fi intidharikum" in Arabic. We are waiting for you. That's what he's been saying. Hold on. You've asked me a question.
Go ahead.
They do have a right. What I've been advocating all along is face-to-face confrontation. What I'm against... What I'm against is a 100-to-1 ratio, because if you have 100...
We're going to come to this in block 2.
All right. Okay, fine.
Hamas is hiding under hospitals. What face-to-face confrontation? Hamas is shooting children who are going south.
I'm okay with face-to-face confrontation. I like it.
Block 2 is exactly...
It's the honourable way.
Block 2 is exactly this question.
Good morning, everybody.
Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us.
You're watching the Independent Republic of Mike Graham right here on TalkTV.
Welcome to Friday Night with Nadine.
Here on Primetime, we like to speak to the business people behind big moments.
Good evening, I'm Piers Morgan, Uncensored, in New York City.
Very impressive, well played.
I'm 3 days into the job. What have I done wrong?
And your face just stared out at me. Me and you conquer time.
Who wins?
You. Do you know what I love about Talk Today? We do it all. Sunak, Suella, scones.
Are you actually speech rating for Rishi Sunak?
I'm so rich. Frankly, I'm going to take the side of boozed up Brits against these pompous
What do you mean
Spaniards.
you're not going to support Mayor Jose
No,
Luis
I am
Sanz?
not.
Stop pandying to the NIMBYs, to the naysayers and the National Society for the Preservation of the Habitat of the Lesser Spotted Newt.
The problem lies in the bureaucracy.
It's almost like those highly paid consultants don't really know what they're doing.
The first thing they teach you in weather school is never confuse dog walkers with doggers.
Twitter, you sons of Can you please reinstate my account?
Yeah,
Thank you.
There's a threat that you'd be worried about.
So are you saying that you're being overwhelmed, that you're inundated? We are really working hard for you, and we're just asking patients to be patient with us.
Are we only going to be trusting sources like Meta and Google and Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter? Where is our unbiased news going to come from?
Welcome to the talk. It's really great to be back. My little darlings. Kids think all they have to do is stay at home, be silly, take pictures of everything.
Just shut down TikTok then, yeah? Problem solved.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
There you go.
Who's fit as a butcher's dog?
Him.
Oh, right. but he's now middle class.
Three of us here, Tess.
I nearly have empathy when I'm speaking to them. I know now, you're probably going to boot me off the short.
Kevin O'Sullivan is the worst presenter on Talk TV, sitting on his fat arse talking for a living.
Got former PMs all over the joint saying things the last few days. We have indeed, yeah.
Great first show. You having fun?
Oh, a ton of fun.
Yeah. King Piers and King Cube. I think it's only room for one king, man. You know what I'm saying?
Just because they're skin folk don't mean they're kin folk.
When I say I am God, you think I'm joking or not?
You tell me.
I'm not joking.
I'd rather do it on camera.
No. If it's on camera, we're not doing the interview.
Why?
We'll explain why.
How do you feel about that influence that you have?
You better be careful. We're coming for your children there, buddy.
About my resignation, yes, I'm going to do.
You're going to resign?
Yeah, I'm going.
I've been answering your question. You answer mine.
It's actually not my job to answer your questions.
Thank God for Talk TV. It's not only the home of common sense, it's the only place where you get the truth.
Let's go to the second topic, right? This time,
Has he had his minute, by the way?
Rabbi Shmuley, you will go first with a minute to say what you want to say, and then Mohammed Hijab, you'll get yours.
Please?
So the theme is this, and the question is this for Block 2. Has Israel gone too far in its response to the October the 7th terror attacks? OK, Rabbi Shmuley, you have a minute starting now.
I just came here by taxi and passed a statue of Winston Churchill. That's in the lifetime of our parents, OK? He is the greatest British statesman of the 20th century. You know what he did when he had a genocidal threat, knowing that Hitler wanted to eviscerate, annihilate Britain? He carpet bombed all of Germany, Dresden, Essen, Hamburg. Israel has not even gotten close to that. Israel does not send its Air Force to carpet bomb cities. It sends in its military. I have a friend who died, six children, 39, because he was personally trying to stop a Hamas terror tunnel. Israel is surgical. Israel is only going after the fighters. Israel has opened humanitarian corridors for the Palestinians to go south. Hamas shoots them and makes sure they don't go. Hamas builds its military structures. Right, Shifa Hospital is this much hospital, and it's this much military. They love using Palestinians. And that's why they've stolen their money. They got about $16 billion from the international community. There isn't one bomb shelter in Gaza. They don't care about the civilians at all. Israel's doing the right thing.
Mohammed, you have a minute.
What I'm saying is the 100 to 1 ratio comes from the following figures. We know that 10,000 civilians have died. Of them, according to the IDF, as reported by The Guardian, 60, dozens, they say, about 60, Hamas died. which we're being liberal by saying 100 to 1 figures. For every one Hamas, you have to kill 100 civilians. That's effectively what we're saying. If the trajectory continues as it is, then you have to kill 3 million Palestinian civilians in order to kill 30,000 Hamas fighters. If you want to extinguish them, eviscerate them, annihilate them, destroy them, you have to do that. Now, you have Herzog, who is the president that you interviewed, saying that all Palestinians, they are responsible. This man is being more slippery. He's being more slippery than the lubricants that he sells in his daughter's sex shop. And that's the reality of the situation.
Did you really just say that? You know, you seem obsessed with Jewish sex. It's bizarre. Yesterday, you actually spoke about Ben Shapiro's wife.
Yes,
you
I did.
actually you said
Yes,
to Ben
I did.
Shapiro,
Yes, I did.
your wife's a coward. Well, you're more of a man. Is that what you're trying to
Yes,
say?
I did.
Then you said that Jews have BDSM. You're speaking about sexual lubricants while people are dying. You know, Mohammed, get your head out of the Jewish bedroom. It's really bizarre.
Let me ask Mohammed a question. Right. I don't disagree with you that so far it seems to me, obviously, a fact that many, many more Palestinian civilians, innocent people, are getting killed as retribution by the Israelis for what happened on October the 7th. That's indisputable, right? Their argument is that they're going after a terror organisation, Hamas, and unfortunately in war, as Rabbi Shmuley correctly said about what Churchill did in World War II.
Churchill was wrong.
Churchill
was wrong.
Was he a war criminal?
Yes, he was.
All
Yes, he
right.
was.
Churchill was a war
Yes, he was.
criminal.
Churchill was a war criminal.
All the British
Let me
people
do
who
the
lived there
question.
were
Churchill was a war criminal.
Okay,
Let me do
and
the
George
question.
VI was George VI a war
All of them
criminal?
war criminals.
George VI
Nagasaki,
war
all of them.
criminal.
Yes, of
So
course.
anyone that, hang on, Rabbi Shmuley.
War criminal.
Let me ask. So let me get this straight.
Absolutely.
You think
Collective punishment.
You think Winston Churchill
was a war criminal
in standing up to the Nazis
by killing
who
babies,
killed 12 million people?
I believe he was a war criminal.
That by doing what he did was a war criminal.
By killing in Dresden and Hamburg, by indiscriminate killing, collective punishment. My morality says that's impossible.
Okay, that means the British people who
That's
supported
impossible.
him
Can't
and
kill
voted him
children.
in, they were
My
also...
morality says that's
just a second,
impossible.
just a second.
That's what I believe.
But the British people...
Yeah.
You believe he was a war criminal?
Yes.
So therefore, your belief is that no retaliatory action...
No, you can retaliate to the man, not to the babies.
Tell me a war in history
where
civilians haven't been killed.
No, I'm not saying civilians haven't been killed. It's
Just
about this
war
ratio.
or
It's about the
otherwise?
ratio. It's
No,
about the
no.
ratio.
What is the ratio?
What about
What's
the
the
ratio?
100 to 1 is unacceptable.
Actually,
What is the
morally...
ra-
100 to 1 is unacceptable.
Actually,
First of all,
morally...
101
Okay,
101 is an
hang
Hang
invention.
on, Rabbi Shmuley. So let me give you a ratio.
Yeah.
How many people did the Nazis kill?
I don't know.
You don't
12
know
million.
how
We
many
know,
Nazis
we know they killed 6 million
They
Jews in
killed
the
12
Holocaust.
million people.
I don't know, so we don't know.
Including
exactly.
6 million Jews.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So
12 million
how many died in Dresden? How many civilians died in Germany? Do you know?
I don't know exactly.
Right, so you don't actually know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about because
You
I know in
called
Dresden
Churchill-
and Hamburg.
You said
if
it's
his
about... Unless I'm wrong...
Yeah, go ahead.
Unless I'm wrong,
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
said it's to do with the...
Ratios.
The ratios.
Yes.
But you don't know the ratios. When
No,
you
no,
call,
I know for a fact
You
Dresden
call
and
Winston Churchill
What
a
are the
criminal.
numbers?
Dresden and Hamburg.
What are the
When you,
numbers in
wait
Dresden
a
and
minute,
Hamburg?
Rabbi Shmuley. When you
Dresden-
call Winston Churchill a criminal,
Yeah, I believe
you're
a war
basing
criminal.
it on ratios you don't even know what they are.
No, I know for there's difference of opinion among the scholars.
No, there isn't.
There is difference.
Tell us
Of
the
course.
opinions.
What do
What
you
are
mean
they? Tell us what they are.
Hold on. There's of
How
course-
many in Dresden?
Excuse me. Stop speaking for
How
me.
many in Dresden?
Am I speaking to him or
How
you?
many in Dresden?
Whatever the number.
You don't know
if
it
it's
all.
indiscriminate,
Okay.
I'm against it.
No, he doesn't.
That's my
He doesn't.
morality.
Rabbi Shmuley, you respond.
Dresden's about 25,000. And at the time, the Germans were saying 250,000. We know it's about 25,000 today. Let me be clear. Winston Churchill was the greatest statesman of the 20th century. He saved the world from Nazi terror.
Yeah.
That you could live in a country that is only around today because of the bravery of that man showing no gratitude is the height of...
Stick on topic. Stick on topic.
And to call all the British people who defeated the Nazis...
Stick on topic.
Stop interrupting me.
Stick
Who
on topic.
defeated the
Please let each other
Nazis,
speak.
war criminals,
Stick on topic.
his parents, all the other people, war criminals,
All right,
let me ask Rabbi Shmuley a
is
question.
wrong. No, let me be clear. Let me be
clear.
Mohammed Hijab trades in falsehoods. 300 to 1? What are you talking about?
100 to 1.
And now he
I
says
said 100 to 1.
he says the Jews are about to kill 3 million Palestinians.
I didn't say they're about to. I said
the
if.
fact that this man considers
You don't
himself an
understand.
Oxford academic. I was the rabbi at Oxford University for 11 years. This
Did
is
you graduate
a
from there?
travesty.
Did you graduate from there?
This is a travesty.
Let me ask you a question,
graduate from
Rabbi
any
Shmuley.
university?
Did
you graduate from any university?
I have a rabbinical
Did you graduate?
Let me answer.
You were excommunicated.
Let me answer.
Well, you excommunicated.
Let me answer.
I swear you were excommunicated from the rabbis.
I am a rabbinical...
All right, honestly,
Can I speak?
This is pointless.
Go on.
Rabbi Shmuley, is there a limit to the number of civilians in Gaza that Israel can kill to try and
That's a
eliminate
good question.
Hamas?
That's a great question.
Yes, there is.
Thank you, but let me ask it.
not even one. Not one beautiful Palestinian child should have to die because Hamas kicked out Mahmoud Abbas.
That wasn't my question.
And not one should have to die. What the answer to your question is that Hamas, if they surrender unconditionally, then
which they're not going to do.
Okay, fine.
But is there a limit?
Then let them allow all the civilians.
Is there a limit?
Israel said that all the civilians can leave. All the civilians should go south. They begged them, and that's something that militaries never do. Churchill did not tell the people in Dresden, "Come on," and. You came with all your notes.
We get the point.
I'm not here.
We get the point, Mohammed. I get the point.
This is all proof that he can't debate me. So he has to use these images. Debate me. We didn't ask you to come on with all your exhibits.
Rabbi Shmuley, let me ask you a question. A member of the cabinet in Israel was actually quoted as saying that nuclear weapons were an option that Israel could use. No one's ever confirmed Israel has nuclear weapons. It's long been suspected. That seemed pretty clear confirmation.
Why are you against nuclear weapons?
Hang on.
If you're not against Dresden, why are you against nuclear weapons?
Let me ask the question.
No, but why are you against it?
I've done this before, this job. Let me do it.
Go on.
Okay? So when that guy says that, if you're living as an innocent civilian in Gaza, what the hell are you thinking? That an Israeli government member threatens the use of a nuclear weapon, which would obliterate pretty much all of Gaza and everyone in it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the question. If that were true, why hasn't Israel used nuclear weapons against Nasser when he invaded?
It's true.
Well, hold on.
It's true this guy threatened it.
And the answer is no. I know the guy, and I spoke to him about it. His name is Amichai Eliyahu. Israel has never carpet bombed any Arab.
Hang on, Mohammed.
1967
Now.
1967 was preemptive.
He was asked a question by a provocative interview, and he said, well, if you're going to bomb the same thing, it was a Mohammed Hijab type. You want to kill all the Arabs, 3 million people, just drop a bomb. He said, well, if you want to drop a bomb, drop a bomb. He was being dismissive and stupid, and he put out a statement the next day saying that never in history would the Jews ever even contemplate doing that. Let's remember one thing. The only place in the Middle East, one second, Piers, the only place in the Middle East where Arabs have any freedoms, Israel. The only place where they vote openly, Israel. The only place where Palestinian women can dress the way they want, Israel. And let's be clear, when Mohammed Hijab gets up and says that we Palestinians want to be a religion of death, you know, I just got a haircut coming here by an Arab barber here in London, and he said to me, I hope you defeat this guy because he doesn't represent us. We want to live. We want to have good lives. We want to be religious. We want to eat halal. But we don't want to die for martyrdom. You are not a Muslim. You're an Islamist.
Let me ask Mohammed a question. Let me ask Mohammed a question. Hamas has 240 hostages. Hamas has 240 hostages they took, including babies, young kids, grandmothers who survived the Holocaust. I mean, an unspeakable further criminal act. We can agree, right?
Of course.
Why should Israel agree to any ceasefire so long as those hostages are still being kept hostage?
Look, my position is very clear. They should fight man to man on the ground. On the ground.
Well, they are.
That fighting.
That's exactly what they're doing.
That fighting, no one can. This is
Mohammed, that's exactly what they're doing.
I know.
Man to man, they took hostages.
Excuse me.
They took babies as hostages.
He's asked me the question.
They took infants as hostages.
Let him answer the question.
You're getting excited here. I know it's your sexuals are inclined. You're the sex rabbi.
Now you're back to my sex life.
You're getting overexcited.
Get your head out of my bedroom,
Mohammed.
beneath you.
He's getting excited with me.
Let me ask the questions. You guys answer them. Mohammed, answer my question. Why, if you're Israel, would you ever agree to a ceasefire if those hostages aren't released?
I'm telling you what my position is. My position is man-to-man combat.
Which is what they're doing now.
No, that part of it is understandable. Do you understand?
That's what they're doing.
No problem. But what I think is not understandable, what is not acceptable, because you said, what's a proportionate response? That's the question you keep asking everybody. My answer to you is a proportionate response is one where in which the ratios are not 100 to 1.
That's your invention.
Excuse me.
I would say that Hamas, by what they did on October the 7th...
100 to 1 versus 3 to 1.
Wait a minute. Ordered, by doing what they did, they ordered de facto the disintegration of northern Gaza that we're seeing,
of course, and all the civilians
and the
suffering.
Deaths
Have you seen
and the deaths of thousands of civilians.
Let him finish.
They knew what was going to happen.
I agree with
that. So that's why they should go.
In 2005, Israel unilaterally withdrew from Gaza and allowed, Hamas won an election in 2006. They could have built Singapore. You know what they did? They took larger foreign aid per capita than all of Europe received from the Marshall Plan. And look what France and Britain, look how beautiful London is. They took that money and they bought bullets and bombs. They did not build hospitals, not schools. They stole it from the Palestinian people. Ismail Haniyeh is worth $4 billion.
I don't care about
Khalid Mashal is worth $4 billion.
Why are you talking about him?
Call him
I
an
don't need to
evil
call him
criminal.
anything. I
You're
don't need
afraid
to call him
He says he
anything.
won't. You see, he will never condemn Hamas because
he has condemned.
No,
Hamas.
go ahead.
I have.
Call
I've heard him do it.
Excuse me.
Wait, no. He condemned Hamas's attack. He's never condemned Hamas.
Well, let me ask you: do you condemn Hamas?
On what basis?
Here we go. See?
No, hold on.
Play his game.
Do you accept now
Let
that
me
they are?
let me ask you a question.
Every answer is on what basis? On what this? On this? What's your source?
Even if you ask me, if you do condemn the IDF, I'll say specify your context. In what exact context
do you defend Hamas as a terrorist organization that just went and killed 1,200 people, burned them alive, beheaded them, and took 250 hostages? Do you condemn them or not? Do you condemn them or not? Get your head into the debate, and do you condemn them or not? See, this is a debating tactic.
It's 2-on-1 now.
Let him answer.
Let him answer.
It's 2-on-1. It's become 2-on-1.
Let him answer.
You're not a victim. Stop the victim, but now it's 2-on-1. Stop the victim. You love portraying yourself as a strong man. Now you're a victim. It's 2-on-1. You probably could take 2-on-1. So answer it. Answer the question. Is Hamas a terror organization you condemn?
It's a reasonable question because you asked me, is the IDF a terror
Okay, beautiful. I'll answer your question directly. Hamas is as much a terrorist organization. No, Hamas shouldn't be called a terror organization if the IDF isn't. Why? Because if it's either both or not.
There we are. This is
either both or neither.
Okay, but just to extrapolate your position, because you believe the IDF is, then you're also saying that Hamas is.
Let me tell you my position.
Then say it.
Hang on.
Say it. Say it.
Am I going to speak?
Rabbi Shmuley, let me get the answer.
The unholy Shmuley won't let me speak.
Right, I'm asking you a question.
At least that was funny. That was the first rhyme you did the whole time. Maybe we could be friends.
Let me ask
it again.
Given you've already stated you believe the IDF is a terror organisation.
Yeah.
Am I to assume
legally or morally?
that you believe...
Legally or morally?
Well, hang on.
Go on.
Am I to assume that you believe Hamas is now?
No, this is my position. But you have to give me 10 seconds at least to answer, right? Legally, I think you shouldn't call Hamas a terrorist organization if you're not calling IDF a terrorist organization. That's my position.
But you do both. Call them terror organizations.
Hold on.
Let him answer.
Hold on, let me finish. Because as we said, the UN definition of what a terrorist organization is to kill civilians in order to achieve a political objective. However, on a moral and theological, philosophical level, I agree with Rosalind Higgins, who was the justice of the International Criminal Court, right? The Court of Justice, ICJ, a British justice. By the way, she was a Holocaust survivor as well. She was Jewish. And her position is that she believes that the word terrorism or terrorist is actually useless. And she says that it's... I'm putting to her...
Can you answer my question?
He's going on for 10 minutes just to evade the question.
Let me finish. So I'm answering your question. So I'm saying that as a moral construct, I think it's a neo-colonial social construct used by people in order to label some people as terrorists and other people as not. So as a moral category, I don't designate it as a moral category.
As a legal category. Do you believe, you personally, Mohammed Hijab, do you believe that the IDF and Hamas are both terror organizations?
I think yes. If you say yes to IDF, you should say yes to Hamas. If you say no to IDF,
that's what I'm asking you. What you
Hamas
believe?
is a terrorist organization.
What you believe?
If you say yes to IDF, you can say yes to Hamas.
No, I'm asking you what you believe.
Yes, I believe legally, according to the definition. If you say yes to Hamas, you can say yes to the IDF.
Pierce, we could go on for the next.
We are going to the next.
But if you say no to the IDF, you can't say yes.
Fine. We're going to the next. We're going to the next block.
We're here. Good morning, everybody.
Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us.
You're watching the Independent Republic of Mike Graham right here on TalkTV.
Welcome to Friday Night with Nadine.
Here on Primetime, we like to speak to the business people behind big moments.
Good evening, I'm Piers Morgan, Uncensored in New York City.
Very impressive. Well played.
I'm 3 days into the job. What have I done wrong?
And your face just stared out at me.
Me and you conquer time.
Who wins?
You. Do you know what I love about Tour Today? We do it all. Sunak, Suella, scones.
Are you actually speech rating for Rishi Sunak?
I'm so rich. Frankly, I'm going to take the side of boozed up Brits against these pompous
What do you mean you're not going to support Mayor Jose Luis Sanz?
No, I am not.
Stop bandying to the NIMBYs, to the naysayers and the National Society for the Preservation of the Habitat of the Lesser Spotted Newt.
The problem lies in the bureaucracy.
It's almost like those highly paid consultants don't really know what they're doing.
The first thing they teach you in weather school is never confuse dog walkers with doggers.
Twitter, you sons of Can you please reinstate my account?
Yeah,
Thank you.
There's a threat that you'd be worried about.
So are you saying that you're being overwhelmed, that you're inundated? We are really working hard for you. We're just asking patients to be patient with us.
Are we only going to be trusting sources like Meta and Google and Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter? Where is our unbiased news going to come from?
Welcome to the talk. It's really great to be back. My little darlings. Kids think all they have to do is stay at home, be silly, take pictures of everything.
Just shut down TikTok then, yeah? Problem solved.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
There you go.
Who's fit as a butcher's dog?
Him.
Oh, right. But he's now middle class.
Three of us here, Tess.
I nearly have empathy when I'm speaking to them. I know now, you're probably going to boot me out.
This is Talk TV.
Is peace possible? Okay. Not on this basis, right? But we've got to try and get to peace. So you get a minute each again. Mohammed, you'll go first this time. So you get a minute from now.
Justice is a prerequisite for peace. In South Africa, when the apartheid system, which we know for a fact Israel is an apartheid state because it has laws like the right of return, which only allow Jewish people to come into the country. And if they convert, by the way, to Christianity or to Islam, they are stripped from that right, it meets completely the definition of apartheid as per Cornell Law School and according to the UN Convention 1973. It's an apartheid system. And as a prerequisite of an apartheid system, you have to be a racist. If you support that, you're a racist. No doubt about it. So number one, 1973 apartheid law. If the black South Africans have been displaced, by the whites, and then they were trying to come back into their country and they were not allowed, and then you ask them, is peace possible? That's not the question we'd be asking them. We'd be asking them, is justice possible? And that's the question that we're going to be asking. Because he can sit there and talk about all these things where the IDF, his son Mendy is being attacked vibrated by the rockets, and he's selling him and his daughter selling vibrators to the public.
Unnecessary thing at the end again.
I hope you keep that in.
Rabbi
Please keep it
Shmuley,
in. Okay.
1 minute on, is peace ever possible?
Of course. I revere countries like the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, where I've spoken several times. I am safer as a Jew wearing a yarmulke in Dubai and Abu Dhabi than I am on the campus of Columbia University or even Harvard these days. The Mohammed bin Zayed is just an incredible leader. I saw in the Gulf states the Islam that Mohammed Hijab rejects, but the Islamic world embraces. That's why they made peace with Israel. It's a technologically advanced, tolerant, forward-looking, very traditional, very religious Islam. And that's why they've made peace with Israel, and peace will continue to be made. All of these countries are praying for Israel to destroy Hamas. Because Mohammed Hijab is an outlier. He's an extremist, and his views, as he represents them at Speaker's Corner of things about women being subject. Okay. But let me just be clear. All of the Arab countries want Hamas destroyed, and the proof is when they had their conference in Riyadh last week, they did not even once call to bring in any evacuees because they want Israel to establish a more democratic regime in Gaza, which they will do. Israel's winning this war.
Here's my follow-up to both of you, right? Just give me a very, very quick snapshot of in 20 years' time how peace could have been achieved. Very quickly.
Okay, the first thing is when Israel withdrew in 2005, almost 20 years ago, if Hamas had not come to power, if they had taken all the international aid that they got, tens of billions of dollars, peace would have been achieved by building businesses, entrepreneurship,
how do we get
schools.
there now?
Okay, we get there now by destroying Hamas, making sure that there's democratic elections, let the Palestinian people, not Mohammed Hijab, not Shmuley, not Piers Morgan,
you both
speak for them.
agree Hamas should be gone, right? We can agree on this, right?
We agreed that there should be a bigger Palestinian Authority with armies and airplanes.
And the
way we have peace,
they should have tanks.
In the history of the world, no two democratic
and rockets
powers have ever gone to war. That's why since the end of the Second World War, there's been no war here in Europe. We need to see a democratic Gaza. Hamas won an election in 2006.
There's a war in Europe now, by the way.
Correct, Ukraine. Because it's against a tyranny. I said no two democracies ever gone to war. Putin is not a democracy. He's a tyrant. In the history of the world, no two democracies have ever fought a war. We have a democracy in Gaza.
So what does peace look like in 20 years?
Peace looks like the Arabs voting for their rulers, voting and backing them, seeing Israel as a partner, not being humiliated that because of this tiny little red dot surrounded, that's humiliation.
Two-state solution?
Well, you know, I'll tell you. If two-state solution is a Hamas state wanting to eviscerate Israel,
he doesn't believe in it.
But he doesn't believe in a two-state solution. He believes in a final solution. That's what really scares me. You don't believe in a two-state solution. You believe in a final solution. The way you speak about Jews, you believe in a final solution, and it scares you.
Do you believe in a two-state solution?
If that second state is Mexico and Canada, if that second state is Gaza, then of course not, because it'll just become another genocidal enemy wanting to wipe Israel off the map.
That's pretty unequivocal. He doesn't really want a two-state solution.
I don't want a two-state solution. That's a terrorist state to destroy Israel.
I personally believe this whole question should be left to the Palestinians of what kind of solution they want. However, having said that, this man has written in his book, A War in Israel, that is the settlements.
I didn't write a book called The War in Israel.
It's called the Israel Warrior, something like that.
Thank you. Thanks for plugging it.
Fantastic.
I appreciate that.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
In that book, he writes that the issue of settlements that me and you both condemn, Piers.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, we do. He doesn't condemn it because he sees an ancient biblical reason to be in that whole land.
I think Arabs and Israelis should be able to live wherever they want. I want Arabs to live in Jerusalem. I want Arabs to live in Tel Aviv. I want Jews to live there. I don't believe in the Judenrein in Israel. I don't believe in Ireland. I am so proud that Israel has 1.8 million Arab Muslim citizens who are protected by the IDF. He calls the IDF a terrorist. They are defending Muslim lives.
What you should be less proud of is the rapid expansion of these settlements on the West Bank.
That's
it has been incredibly divisive.
Do you condemn that?
It's been, in my view, illegal. It's been declared illegal.
Illegal by everyone's view.
Well, Piers,
the UN, human rights.
There are many things I'll defend Israel about. That is indefensible.
But let me answer. Absolutely. If you go to places in Judea and Samaria and the West Bank,
why do you call it Judea and Samaria?
Because those are the biblical lands.
Who cares?
Why do you call something Arabia? It's where the Arabs are from. Judea is where the Jews are from. Now, you don't know history. It was always Judea and Samaria. The West Bank is the West Bank of a river. You don't call California the West Bank of the Mississippi River. Now, let me go back.
Call it Canaan.
If you go to the Barkan Industrial Park in Judea and Samaria, you will see, I've met the Palestinians, I've interviewed them. They are paid 20 times the salary working for people you call settlers. They want them there. It brings civilization. It's only jihadis who don't want it. It's only jihadis. And that's why you're saying...
That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
That's not true.
I've interviewed them myself.
I know many Palestinians who definitely do not want them.
You know Palestinians who want to live under Mahmoud Abbas with no democracy.
Let me come to Mohammed.
Afraid to criticize him and throw him into jail.
Mohammed.
Yes, my friend Mohammed. Go ahead, Mohammed. Please. You're wearing my favorite blue color. Of course I'll let you speak.
Fantastic. For that reason? Yes, brilliant. Thank you. What, just because I'm wearing the blue?
My mother loved that color and she passed away this year,
I thought it would have been because of Israel, because you...
Oh, that's right. You wore the Israeli colors today. Mohammed, my brother, can we shake hands?
No, please. I don't want to, because your hands are shaking. Your hands are
shaking.
Sorry,
but I mean, look how peaceful.
Why
don't you wouldn't shake my hand?
No, I'll shake hands with you.
You wouldn't shake my hand?
After what you said today about me, I can't shake your hand. But
after what you said about my sex life, and I'm shaking your hand.
Stop. I just want to say.
You won't shake my hand. You won't shake my hand. That's really sad. I guess there will be no peace.
You know what he said there is a little bit telling, because you know the blue colors in Israel and all that kind of stuff. He defended Dershowitz, which was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, for that very reason, because he's a supporter of Israel.
I defended Dershowitz. Dershowitz when I fought over him going to Qatar. You don't know anything.
You wrote it on the Observer.
You're abysmal, ignorance is shocking. Me and Alan Dershowitz had a huge fight over him defending Qatar.
Did you go to the island?
Come on, guys. Get back to topic.
Did you go to the island?
Mohammed. Anyway, 20 years time.
Mohammed.
20 years time. No, I don't care about Alan Dershowitz. I know Alan Dershowitz.
I wrote a book called Kosher Sex for Marriages. I didn't write it to get into other people's bedrooms.
I don't care about either of your sex lives. Okay?
He seems pretty interested in mine.
20 years' time.
I'm not interested.
20 years' time, what does a potential peace look like?
I don't know. But that's a speculative question, to be honest. You're asking me a hypothetical.
Two-state solution?
I don't know. You're asking me a hypothetical question. I asked you a hypothetical. You said I don't do hypotheticals.
I wanted to give me hope.
Why did you not answer my hypothetical question? If you're asking me a hypothetical question. That Belfast question. Why?
Huh?
Remember, I asked you the Belfast question and you didn't answer it.
I don't think there is. The only parallel...
Why didn't you answer that one?
Because they're different situations.
No, but it's hypothetical. You're asking me a hypothetical now. Why?
Well, you don't have to answer. I'm just asking you.
No, but why do you have a double standard?
I don't think asking you how peace might look like is hypothetical.
No, it's talking about the future in a hypothetical.
How would you like... Let me rephrase it. How would you like it to be resolved, this crisis?
Okay, fantastic.
Okay?
Okay, look. Yeah, let's look at history.
River to the sea. That's how you want it, right? No Israel.
Let him answer. Don't answer for him.
Honestly, you'll be surprised to know this. And people talk about, you said this, and I have to correct you. I looked at the Hamas charter, Hamas themselves, yeah? in Article 16, even they say you can have, in Article 31, they say that you can have peace between, they can have a shared land between Christians, Muslims and Jews. They even say that. I think the most radical elements, everybody you want, the jihadis, these one, that one, no one actually wants the extermination of Jewish people. That's a lie.
Actually, that's not true.
The Hamas charter. Wait. Now, let me speak, please.
I'll tell you
the
who.
Hamas charter. Pierce, you know, let me speak.
I'll tell you
Hamas charter calls for the Hamas
people.
charter says that behind every single tree and stone where a Jew.
That's hadith of the Prophet.
Now you're saying that the Prophet Muhammad said that? It says that every Jew has to be murdered. How can you possibly deny that?
That's hadith.
You know, you have. What's the hadith say?
The hadith says in the end of it's an eschatological hadith.
Yes, go ahead.
It's an eschatological hadith which says that on the end of times there'll be a war. And there will be trees and stones that say behind me is a Jew killing.
So Muhammad is saying that the Jews should be killed?
This is a hadith which has been misinterpreted.
What does it mean?
So,
what does it mean? What does it mean?
No, it means that it's an eschatological. It's not an imperative.
What does it mean?
It's not an imperative.
Are you obligated to kill a Jew according to the hadith? You're not. Okay.
I'll tell you.
Wait a minute. You can pick and choose.
No, excuse me. Let me answer your question. Yes. Let me answer your question. Is this a theological question? So I'm answering you. This hadith is called an eschatological. You know this because you're a theologian. It's an eschatological hadith. It's not talking about.
It's not literal.
It's not It's not like 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse number 3, where it says, "Go and kill the men, women, children, donkeys, and oxen." Which, by the way, Netanyahu quoted.
No, that's not true.
He quoted Amalek. He said you can kill them 1 minute. It's not like that.
See, this is the blood libel of saying the Jews want to.
Can I get a word in here?
But Pierce,
let me put a point. I'm going to put a point to Mohammed. I'll tell you who wants the absolute annihilation of every Jew they can get their hands on. All the Hamas terrorists who crossed the border on October the 7th, who gleefully recorded it, boasted about it, and the Hamas official. Wait a minute. And the Hamas official spokesman, who only last week said they want to do it again and again and again. If you don't think Hamas are wedded as an organisation to the annihilation of Jewish people, you are living in
their charter. In their charter, it says that they will murder every Jew in London.
They've showed us what they want to do.
That I agree with. Hold on. Let me tell you why I agree or disagree. Both the IDF and Hamas, on paper, say they don't want the annihilation of Muslims and Jews.
No. The Hamas charter says that's not true. I'm not going to. The Hamas charter says explicitly that every Jew will be murdered by Hamas. They are a genocidal charter. Yes, it is. And you're not. You're lying. I'm sorry. It's not true.
Nobody can hear either of you. Right, the point is, in my estimation, after October the 7th, Hamas are now a openly boastful, genocidal bunch of terrorists.
Yes,
that's it.
Hold on. With terrorists calling their parents and saying, I killed 10 Jews.
I just said
the Likud Party in 1999 had the charter, and in it they said they want the whole of Israel, including, as he believes, the West Bank and Gaza and everything. If we are going to, because there is...
Did they say they would kill Arabs? God forbid, Arabs are equal citizens. Arabs will be equal citizens.
Let me finish. They're not equal because there's apartheid laws.
No, there's no apartheid law.
Law of return.
The apartheid
law.
So let me explain that.
No, let me get to the point.
You can go to Portugal and Spain and show that if you have ancestry, they give you citizenship. That's Israel. If you have Jewish interest. No, every country.
Arabs or not.
Listen, this is the country.
Arabs or not.
Muhammad. Muhammad, let me speak. We live in a Christian country where the sovereign head of state is a Christian. I'm a Jew. I never felt alienated from the fact that this is a Christian country. Arabs live as equal citizens in a Jewish state. You're a Muslim.
Wait a minute, I'm going to give
you know the astonishing thing is...
You can actually ask each other questions now.
Muhammad had 2 Jewish wives, but you won't shake the hand of a Jew. And you know why? That's not Islam. That's Islamism. Islamism is deeply anti-Semitic, and it's sad.
We're going to the final part.
We're here. Good morning, everybody.
Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us.
You're watching the Independent Republic of Mike Graham right here on TalkTV.
Welcome to Friday Night with Nadine.
Here on Primetime, we like to speak to the business people behind big moments.
Good evening, I'm Piers Morgan, Uncensored in New York City.
Very impressive. Well played.
I'm 3 days into the job. What have I done wrong?
And your face just stared out at me. Me and you conquer time.
Who wins?
You. Do you know what I love about Talk Today? We do it all. Sunak, Suella, scones.
Are you actually speech rating for Rishi Sunak?
I'm so rich. Frankly, I'm going to take the side of boozed up Brits against these pompous
What do you mean you're not going to support Mayor Jose Luis Sanz?
No, I am not.
Stop pandying
warning to the NIMBYs, to the naysayers and the National Society for the Preservation of the Habitat of the Lesser Spotted Newt.
The problem lies in the bureaucracy.
It's almost like those highly paid consultants don't really know what they're doing.
The first thing they teach you in weather school is never confuse dog walkers with doggers.
Twitter, you sons of Can you please reinstate my account?
Yeah,
Thank you.
There's a threat that you'd be worried about.
So are you saying that you're being overwhelmed, that you're inundated? We are really working hard for you, and we're just asking patients to be patient with us.
Are we only going to be trusting sources like Meta and Google and Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter? Where is our unbiased news going to come from?
Welcome to the talk. It's really great to be back. My little darlings. Kids think all they have to do is stay at home, be silly, take pictures of everything.
Just shut down TikTok then, yeah? Problem solved.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
There you go.
Who's fit as a butcher's dog?
Him.
Oh, right. But he's now middle class.
Three of us here, Tess.
But I nearly have empathy when I'm speaking to them. I know now, you're probably going to boot me off the short. This
Kevin O'Sullivan is the worst presenter on Talk TV, sitting on his fat arse talking for a living.
Got former PMs all over the joint saying things the last few days. We have indeed, yeah.
Great first show. You having fun?
Oh, a ton of fun.
Yeah. King Piers and King Cube.
I think it's only room for one king, man. You know what I'm saying?
Just because they're skin folk don't mean they're kin folk.
When I say I am God, you think I'm joking or not?
You tell me.
I'm not joking.
I'd rather do it on camera.
No. If it's on camera, we're not doing the interview.
Why?
We'll explain why.
How do you feel about that influence that you have?
You better be careful. We're coming for your children there, buddy.
About my resignation, yes, I'm going to do.
You're going to resign?
Yeah, I'm going.
I've been answering your question. You answer mine.
It's actually not my job to answer your questions.
Thank God for Talk TV. It's not only the home of common sense, it's the only place where you get the truth.
I'm going to end the show by you both having a minute, uninterrupted, to summarise, right?
Let him go first, it's no problem.
How you think we move on from here. Because clearly anyone watching this is going to see two completely intractable sides, right? This is what I see on Twitter all day long.
Right.
I see people on the Israeli side and on the pro-Palestinian side, and they scream at each other all day long, right? They say some things that are right, some things that are wrong.
You're part of that as well.
Whatever. There's a kind of...
You're involved in it.
Well, you both said to me before we sat down, I don't want to speak out
absolve himself.
Speak out of turn, but you both said to me independently...
So now it's the two of us ganging up on him,
well,
finally, okay.
You both said to me before we started, you said that the American Jewish community were very pleased with what I'd done on this show.
They are.
And you said that the Muslim world were pleased with what I'd done on the show. And I took that as a perfect extrapolation of what we've been trying to achieve, which is giving both sides a voice and a platform. And
So let me do my minute.
What has not worked is bringing you together like this, because actually it's been an ear-thumping, screaming match. So you're now going to get a minute each to summarise, right?
You can go first.
And in the summary, I want to see if we can at least pretend to be constructive here, right?
Okay.
Because the world needs this somehow to end.
Okay.
So, Rabbi Shmuley, you go first.
First of all, Mohammed, thank you very much for wearing the Israeli colors. Thank you for your support of the Jewish state. We greatly appreciate it. I should have done the same. Secondly, I'm sorry you wouldn't shake my hand. I will shake your hand any time, because I do believe what Piers said, we have to have peace and harmony going forward. It's a shame that you said no. Third, peace will come when my Arab brothers and sisters, who are the green on this map, accept that tiny little thing that I'm covering with my finger, that tiny little thing called Israel. And when they understand that Israel is not the Jewish homeland, Israel is actually the great Arab hope. If our Arab brothers and sisters get the economic prosperity of Israel, the rights for women, the rights for freedom of assembly, to criticize their governments without fear, the way the people in Hamas, in Gaza would be murdered by Hamas, let alone in Palestinian Authority, they'd be thrown in jails. Israel's the great hope. Let me just say this. Islam is a great world religion. It created the world's first universities. It introduced agricultural reforms in Europe under Sultan Akbar in India 400 years before Europe. You had Al-Razi, who introduced medical reforms 600 years before the
All right.
And if we return to that kind of advance, not the Islam that is being advocated by Mohammed Hijab, which is antiquated and dark ages, then we will have peace.
Okay.
So God bless my Muslim brothers and sisters, and I will shake your hand anytime.
Mohammed, a minute for you.
As I said before, and I'll say it again, justice is a prerequisite for peace. If this was the case that it was South Africa and both nations had a long and known history with each other, Israel and South Africa. And there's a book called The Secret Alliance that you can read for your further information. If this was South Africa and the blacks were kicked out of their country, they were kicked out of their country by the whites, like the Nakba, 700,000 Palestinians were kicked out. And then they had the audacity to talk about peace. Nobody would be accepting it. The apartheid laws of South Africa are the same, effectively, as the apartheid laws of Israel. You're not allowed to come back to the country unless you are of a specific ethnicity which meets the requirement for apartheid. They're 100-to-1 ratio of being killed in Gaza. This seems to be acceptable to Shmuley, unholy Shmuley. It seems to be acceptable to him.
It's a good rhyme.
Not acceptable.
It's a very
to
good rhyme. At least a little bit
it's
of
not
comedy.
acceptable to me. It's not acceptable to the people. When we see these images, it's absolutely not acceptable. So peace is justice requirement for peace.
By the way, it's Shmuley, not Shmuley. It doesn't rhyme.
You don't get to go all over
Doesn't matter
again.
what your name is.
Look, I found that quite a dispiriting hour. I've got to be honest with you.
Doesn't matter.
I thought both of you let yourselves down. I gave you a great opportunity here.
We gave you an
to try and
opportunity as well,
reach.
Piers. Come on.
Well, fine. You can say what you like about me. I don't care.
We gave you an audience. You gave us an audience.
It's fine, but it's not just about the audience. It's about a big audience, which we're getting for all these shows. About a big audience seeing people try to come together.
Don't be sanctimonious, though.
Nobody here has seen you even try to come together.
Why would
it's dispiriting to me.
Pierce,
what can I do?
Pierce, with all due respect, since
try harder.
I believe.
Apartheid.
You know, I believe.
Do you agree with apartheid?
I believe in
Try
construction.
harder, as Nelson Mandela did when he came out.
Apartheid.
Nelson Mandela could have gone down this road when he came out of prison after 27 years.
And they called him a terrorist then. They called him a terrorist
No, wait a
then.
minute.
Yeah, they did.
He could have come out of prison and he could have taken the path of vengeance.
He did.
Instead,
He was violent.
Instead,
what are you talking about?
he took the path of peace.
He was violent.
He took the path
of reconciliation.
What are you talking about?
When he came out of prison, he took the path of peace.
He was violent.
Pierce,
And you called him a terrorist. The British called him a terrorist.
I take constructive criticism, and I will think about what you said.
And Mandela was pro-Palestine.
But I will tell you.
He was against
But I will tell you. If you bring two people on to a debate, and you're saying that we let you
Don't give him
down
lessons.
our audience.
Don't give him lessons.
Okay.
Don't give him lessons.
When you bring people,
He's a very successful man.
when you bring
He's a very
two
successful
people,
man.
and you allow
I'll be quiet, man.
One to bring up
Don't give him lessons.
stuff that is so just embarrassing, like people's sex lives.
You both
and everything
written
else.
30 books
No, I
on
did
sex.
not. No,
You've
I did
written
not.
Yes, you did.
I did. No,
What's your sex? No?
Oh, I'm proud of my books on sex, but this is a debate about the
I
Middle
don't
East.
care about your sex lives, either of you. All
You
right.
seem to be really interested
That's
in
it
mine, Mohammed.
from me. Whatever you're up to.
We'll talk later.
Keep it uncensored. Good night.